to Saturday's game away at Walsall. I guess it's all about building on that brilliant result against Scunthorpe last weekend.
Yeah, definitely. Pleasing result last weekend. Good to get that monkey off our back in terms of the first win in a period of time. And we look forward to this weekend. I said after the game immediately, it'll be a hell of a game of football. And my mindset's not changed towards that. Having watched them live, but also watched a lot of video footage as well. I'm preparing the group of players this week. They've got an extra spring in their step. And it's a fixture we always look forward to because it's one which our away fans travel well to. I'm sure they'll fill that stand behind the goal. And generally, there's quite a good atmosphere when we go there.
In terms of COVID and injuries, we sort of seem to be coming out the back end of those issues now. I think just Sam Nombe and Alex Hartridge left before the squad's back where you want it to be. How is it looking from your perspective?
Yeah, a lot stronger. You touched on it there. Nigel Garner got some game time on Tuesday night, albeit only 30 minutes, but great to see him back on the football pitch. Jonathan Grounds has trained throughout the week, so he's back in contention this week on the calf strain he picked up in that good performance at Forest Green a few weeks ago. So the group's generally coming back into a better position. Alex Hartridge is back with the group, which is fantastic to see. But he's probably will miss this week because he's not quite had enough training time, and we can't quite expose that need to what League Two is all about this weekend. And Sam Nombe is still cracking on with his individual bits and pieces, which get harder and more vigorous every single day. And great to see him out there. And it won't be long before he's back within the remits of the group, and we can push him towards match fitness.
Obviously, Tuesday night's under-23 result was a disappointment, but how important was those minutes for the likes of Nigel, Jack Sparks, and the like, your season's first teamers, if you like, that they played?
Yeah, look, it's important because it's minutes in the bank and it's game time under the belt. But then within that game time and within those minutes, we want performance as well. And look, I said previously in a separate press call that's probably the best 20 team we've come up against in relation to West Ham, and full credit to them, but we were also disappointed with our own performance, and I'm sure the players within that were disappointed as well. So it served its purpose in relation to game time for some of those players, but it was an opportunity to impress, and probably in all honesty a missed opportunity for a large part of that team. But we've also got to remember some young players on that pitch. Our best player on the night, Harry Lee, still sort of 17 years of age. Our centre forward, 17 years of age. Alfie Pond, who I thought was one of the better performers, is still a young player making his way in a game. So those three will learn a lot from that experience. And I've learned a little bit more about some of those senior ones who should be knocking on the door in relation to the first team. And anyone who I don't feel is going to affect us moving on until the end of the season, then we'll move them out on loan and give them opportunity to get game time elsewhere. Because players have to keep on playing. And Tuesday was probably a disappointing night all round, but we've also learnt a lot from it.
On to Saturday's opponents then, Walsall. How do you assess the job that the other Matt Taylor has been doing?
I always say this, it's difficult to comment on other teams. I know that they gave us a hell of a game early on in the season, and we're probably the better team for large parts in relation to that. And, you know, like I say, that was a difficult afternoon to reflect back on that and watch back again. I've watched them live. I've watched their footage of the last few games. There seems to be a bit of a inconsistency in terms of their performances and their run of games, and even performances within a performance. Hence why some of the score lines are quite dramatic. Obviously, the 3-3 recently against Newport was an incredible climax to the game. And fans running on the pitch, but obviously probably show how Walsall's season has gone so far. A team who can score goals at will, but maybe have a slight fragility towards the pitch. And we're looking to exploit that, stopping the opposition as well. We have to go there looking to implement our own game, our own style on the way the game pans out. But it'll be a difficult game of football against a good group of players.
I mean, you started by saying that Saturday's win against Scunthorpe was a monkey off your back. The monkey still on our back. It seems to be Walsall away. I know that's a fixture that previously has frustrated you as a manager.
It's been a difficult place to go and play. You know, we felt we were incredibly unlucky a few seasons back where Ryan had a disallowed goal take us to 2-1 up, and we ended up losing that game 3-1. And disallowed wrongly so on that day. And then since then, a couple of draws in the mix as well. Look, always difficult to play there. Strange when we went there with no fans. A quiet Walsall stadium wasn't something you used to. But we go there with a bit of confidence on the back of last weekend. We go there feeling our performances are moving in the right direction. we know that they'll come straight at us and put their best in front of us because on the back of their results and their recent game time. But we generally do go well supported there, and we need a togetherness in terms of the fans and the players, which says we're here to win this game of football and to put our best foot forward. And I want the players to play with a little bit of, not confidence or arrogance, but a little bit of lightness, that the pressure's off in relation to the win last weekend.
And finally, then obviously 2 weeks left in the transfer window. Has it been a quiet week on the phone, a busy week, or what's been going on for you there?
Well, as always, a busy week in terms of phone calls, but a quiet week in relation to what else is happening. So nothing further in terms of what I said last weekend in terms of offers for our players. There is obviously the potential for players to go out on loan and to get game time elsewhere. So we're looking to work that in there because the squad seems to be strengthening, but also growing in terms of size. And you're mindful that you want to keep it as not as thin as you possibly can, but in terms of the right numbers and the right ones who can influence it. And then in terms of recruitment, we're always looking. In terms of the players who've come back into the fold, we're really pleased with. And obviously our new signing, Ozzy, started well. So we're still looking to add to that, but it'll only be if it's the right player and the right deal for the football club, as always. So we're mindful that it's probably a small market we're working in, but there's no rush in relation to that. There's still a little bit of time until the end of the month.